Hello, hello, and welcome. All right, let's get things on the. Let's see. All right, it doesn't look like it's rolling yet. Hopefully soon. All right. Hello, hello. What's up, Tim? How's it going? Looks like it's rolling now. Come on, Facebook. There we go. All right. Gotta share this stuff. Greetings from Belgium. How's it going? One more share to my page. I wish Facebook would automate this sharing stuff. I really do. But hey, no complaints, right? No complaints. Okay, here we go. All done with that. Housekeeping. All right. So today, rather than pose the dragon, because I think I would be able to do it quicker than the 2-hour session that I have, and I kind of wanted to start a new character. That one's getting a little burnt out for me. So I was thinking about doing a fan art of something that is I really love the Disney Tarzan film. So this is the Archimedes. Is that his name? I'm trying to remember his name. I think that's his name. Yeah, Archimedes Q Porter is his full name. And I just love his head shape and that you can't see his mouth under here. And he's got these like neck rolls and stuff, huge ears. Yeah, really cool character. So I figured I would do a fan art of him. Kind of fun, right? Hey, what's up, Chris? Thank you, Neil. How's it going? Okay. Let me get my water up here. How's everybody doing today? It's been crazy around here. There's been there was a fire that was pretty close to me, just south of me in my same city. If you look on the news, it's called Saratoga Springs in Utah. And they evacuated like 3,000 some odd people, like a third of the city. Maybe more than that. I can't remember how many they evacuated. Anyway, a lot of people. And my sister-in-law was one of them. And so her and her family are staying with us right now. They got evacuated to our house. And the fire, they said that as of this morning, it was like 25% contained, but there's been crazy winds around here, so it changes directions. And yeah, it's been crazy hairy. But we're all safe, and there's no there was one home lost in the blaze, but it was a house that was not in the neighborhood. It was kind of out in the boonies by itself. So it's yeah, no other houses were lost, but it melted some fences, like some plastic vinyl fences. Melted some of those. So anyway, hey, what's up, Popper? How's it going? Oh, thank you, Rahul. Appreciate it. And you are welcome. Okay, so let's get going on this guy. Now, let's see. Let's get his head shape going. New student of the workshop, hello and welcome. Awesome. Congrats and thank you for joining. Okay. His head is so like flat on top. It's crazy. Alicus, hello. Okay. Now I want to get a piece on the front. From Orlando. I have history with Orlando. I was in the U.S. Navy when I was a kid. I would say I was a kid because I was pretty young, and I went to boot camp in Orlando. Hey, what's up, David? And it is humid in Orlando. That's all I have to say about Orlando. Holy cow. Quebec. Oh man. love seeing people from all around the world. Thanks for joining me on your Monday. I hope you guys are streaming or sculpting along with me, not streaming along with me, sculpting along with me. Doing your thing. Hey, Lawella, is that how you say your name? Nice, Tim. Nice. Good to hear. Okay. I'm just kind of trying to block out this crazy shaped head. Get the skull making some sort of sense. Yeah, Chris, tell me about it. Oh my goodness. The so I was streaming a Q&A for my students a couple Fridays ago. Hey, what's up, Jason? And thank you. And the YouTube bot decided I was doing something like infringing on some copyright law of some sort. Like, and I wasn't playing any music or doing anything, weird like that. And it was an unlisted live video. So all of a sudden it just shut me out and killed my stream and deleted the video. Like, I don't know where that video went. It's sad. Yeah. How come you, yeah, you got to get back in there, man. Get back in the Z moment, whatever you want to call it. Israel, hello. Oh, I'm not doing two noses, just one. Clown nose. Tiny Monsters Inc. figures. Yep. Yeah, you'd think so, right? But no. They probably... yeah, just copyright. It's usually from, like, music of some sort. But I wasn't playing any music. I think I might have been, like, horribly singing Beauty and the Beast or something. Maybe that's it. They're like, nope, you're out. Oh, man. You've been producing of our local Fox and CBS. Oh, I see. Got you. Well, that's good though, right? Getting some work. Yeah, so maybe that was it. Maybe it was my singing. They're just like, oh my gosh, get this guy. Gotta stop this before he goes any further. I think I actually might block in the mustache. Do I ever use Substance? I do. Yeah, public domain songs from now on. Otherwise, they're just gonna be like, ugh. Okay. Please stream. It should be high quality. It should be based off of your internet connection. You'll get a better stream if you watch. I'm streaming to three different places. I think I'm still streaming to Mixer, even though Mixer's going down, but I'm streaming to Twitch. So if you go twitch.com/Pixologic, you can watch me over there, and it's faster. So watch it there, and you might get a better experience. Yeah, I'm not sure why is anybody else having like, yeah, it's 1080p on YouTube. It's got to be your internet connection, I'm afraid. I apologize for that. Let's see. What's more important for designing characters and environments of your own? What do you mean? What's more important? Like what part of that? So I don't necessarily design my own characters. I usually model other people's designs. That's just what I like to do. There are some character modelers that do like to design characters, but I just like to see if I can bring them to life in 3D. Oh, Jason, it is? Good on Facebook? Yeah, usually it's kind of choppy, so that's interesting. Okay, I think his head is way too wide. Let's bring it on in. Except for I want to leave his nose. Try that again. Let's see. Can you talk about your tutorials, please? ZBrush starting from basic. So yeah, I don't know how to say your name, sorry. So are you talking about, I teach an online course, as you guys probably, most of you know, 3D Character Workshop, the logo that's right above my head. I teach an online course, and I start from absolutely basic in that course. But with these, I just kind of, I'm a volunteer for these live streams, and I do it for fun, and you know, I answer some questions as I go, but I don't really teach too much during these live streams. And hello everyone. I'm doing follow since last month to you. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Did I miss anything? Oh, when do you decide to merge subtools? When it seems like time. I hate to say it, but I do it when it seems like the time is right. It's because it's always different. It just really depends on where I'm at in the sculpt. It changes every time based off of the character. Hey Makan, how's it going? Do you read Topo and UV and ZBrush, or do you move over? I usually move to a different software for that. Okay. I'm gonna turn on dynamic subdiv so it's a little cleaner. And then we'll give him a neck. Hello and good morning. Yep. Everything is scary if you don't know what you're doing, but as soon as you know what you're doing, then it becomes less scary. That's my philosophy. Do I have any recommendation for learning 3D printing? So, well, first, you know, either get access to a 3D printer somehow, and then just start pushing your models over to it. As part of my online course, I have, I think, 4 lessons. I have prep for 3D printing and how to do keys. I want to add some more. I need to, because now that I have a Form 2 printer here, I want to do some more that actually show cleaning up a print, like clipping off the supports and that kind of stuff. But I don't have that just yet. Okay, it's got a quite the thick neck there. I think I'm gonna bring it down, out in the front and down in the back. If you want to know about my course, I only have one course. It's just a single course, because it's just all inclusive. I have everything in there, and so it's not a bunch of courses. It's just one. And I am launching 1.5 very, very soon. 1.5 is So the course has been out for 3 years now, and I'm going to be updating it very, very soon with a new look and some new lessons and that kind of stuff. So it's happening shortly. Please make a video on 3D printing and details from model to 3D print. Like I said, I do have those lessons in my course already. Pushing this in a little bit. Oh, you guys are too kind. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, now that I have that, I'm gonna start pushing the mouth in. Hey, Saeed. Let's see. Now, I don't have to necessarily give him a mouth because it's covered with his mustache, but I always do. You know? I always give him a mustache, but I need some more resolution. So I'm going to subdivide it once and then delete the lower subdivision level. Types of 3D printers for beginner, what we should try on. Well, it depends on what you can get access to or what you want to purchase, but there are two main printer types that I suggest you play with. One of them is an extrusion printer. That's the ones that will extrude plastic out of a hot tip, kind of like a glue gun, a hot glue gun. You see those big spools of plastic? Those are the cheapest type of printers, and they give fairly decent results, but at the end you're going to have to do a lot of sanding and a lot of cleanup. The next best one is the resin printers, and that's what all these back here that you see, these were all printed on resin printers at fairly high quality. So that's kind of the next step up. It's a big step up. But these hardly need any cleanup. Sorry to hear that, Maverick. I wish there was something I could do about that. That would be fair to everybody else, you know. I just don't have the answer to that. Let's see. Let's model this. I'm just going to push this in. Polygroup, extrude. Yep. So you go. Feel free. I just don't know. Yeah, I'll try my best to answer it. Okay, I'm just going to hide this and work on the interior of the mouth for a second. I just like to make a rough mouth cavity here. How can we sculpt and render ice in ZBrush? So, oh, that's too fast. There is a, I mean, I don't really have time to show you, but if you do some research and find they have some translucent materials here inside of ZBrush if you want to try and render them in here. But it's a little difficult to render translucent material in ZBrush, but it's possible. It is possible. 1 second. And then ice, just rendering like sculpting ice. I would just get some good reference, some good resource material, good reference, and just kind of look at it and sculpt it how it looks. I would use. There's this thing called ZSketch. You might want to look into ZSketch. That might make some pretty good ice. So, yeah, take a look into that. See if that works for you. Okay, let's do just slap his eyeballs in here. Okay, his eyes are very, very tall and thin. So they're going to be tricky to do, but it'll be a good challenge. Trim dynamic. Yeah, trim dynamic would, it's better for stone, kind of like hard, crispy edges, I think. And where did my where did my symmetry go? Did I accidentally hit perspective? No. What on earth did I do? All right, well, we're gonna fix it. You do live critique with your students for your class? I do. Yep. I have a Q&A session. Right now, I'm doing it every other Friday, but when I get back on track, I'll be doing it every Friday. Okay, so I'm gonna try and reset this. I don't know what the heck happened here. There we go. Yeah, Z-Sketch. I would do like just a Google search for Ask ZBrush Z-Sketch. You'll find it. It's like drawing with spheres, like a whole bunch of spheres in a row. And yeah, it's like a way to build up forms. I don't really use it because it's the I don't necessarily use it because of the roughness that it creates, but it would be perfect for ice. Is it necessary to sculpt the mouth? I always sculpt the mouth, just whether you can see it or not, because you never know if he's gonna animate him, right? If you're gonna animate him, he's gonna need to move his mouth. So okay. Yeah, there's so many different ways. There's no right way, there's no wrong way to make a mouth. As long as your end result looks good, then there you go. You got it. Okay. So let me get back to, now that we're symmetrical again, I need to save this. Save it, save it. Actually, I'm going to go to my reference because I want to steal his name. Oh, he's not giving it to me. Archimedes. There it is. Okay. There we go. All right. Yeah. Yep, Neil. Professor Archimedes Q. Porter reporting. I love this guy's voice. It's funny. All right. Let's do auto groups, mirror and weld, and how we add a ref pick on screen. So you use a thing called Spotlight. Spotlight, and you basically just load a texture into here. See this texture right here? And then you hit this add to Spotlight and it will appear in Spotlight, but make sure you turn off Spotlight projection, which is right here, which you can find under brush samples, Spotlight projection. Turn that off. Otherwise some of your brushes won't work. So, okay. Let's see. Let's give him, I've been meaning to give him eyes for a while now. Oh, let's turn symmetry back on. What tablet am I using? This is a Wacom Cintiq 27-inch. Okay. Just gonna get his eyes as big as I possibly can get them. We'll split this off. I don't have my music going. I just have these headphones on and there's nothing in them. So, there we go. Standpipe. Yeah, it kind of does, right? Right now, the head shape is very similar. Okay. And yes, you can cross the eyeballs in the center inside the head. It's a little more difficult to rig if you have eyeballs like this, but you can do it. It's not going to completely break it. Okay, I think that'll do. Is it 2K? I don't know. I've had it for a while, Charlie. I'm not sure. I think it is 2K. I'm not sure. It's not the latest one, that's for sure. Yeah, PureRef is good too. PureRef is great. The reason I like to use Spotlight is because I can load in several images right in here, and I can color drop pick right off of those images. You can do that with PureRef too, but it's an extra step to do it. And I just kind of like having it here, and I can do I can use these as a stamp and color stamp and actually transfer the image down to my model if I ever want to do that. So it's just what I'm used to, but PureRef is great. You can use that as well. Okay, so let's I want to ZRemesh this, get some loops going. I actually don't need to get loops going because I'm going to Sculptris Pro him. I might as well just stitch him up and go for it. Okay. So I'm going to use remesh by union, which is essentially like it's like live boolean without live booleaning. And you'll see it stitches everything together. But yeah, this will be fine. I was thinking that the triangles are a little too big, but I think using the Sculptris Pro is going to just fix that problem anyway. Okay. Now let's turn symmetry back on, and let's get some Sculptris Pro going on. I'm gonna tessimate. Do I want to tessimate him? Maybe not. So I'm turning Sculptris Pro on, and then you go to. I usually like to do. I don't like adaptive size, so I turn that off right here. It's under stroke, adaptive size, and then I use this subdivide size instead. And then I just try and see what triangles it's going to give me. And that's pretty good to start with, I think. And I can just kind of smooth these out. And the poly groups don't matter anymore. At what point do you use subdivisions instead of Dynamesh? I don't use Dynamesh too much anymore. I use Sculptris Pro, but it's very similar. And at what point, I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. I usually use subdivisions towards the end when I'm wanting to do my details on the surface. Hey, what's up, Walter? How's it going? I'm just adding some detail, smoothing this out. It basically just kind of turns the surface to triangles. And you can do tessimate. You can use tessimate to do the same thing, but sometimes I like to do it by hand. Let's see. So what do you got? What am I missing here? You think 3D artists will be replaced with computers? Everybody has been, wondering that since the 1980s or earlier, right? For certain things, like making cars, yes. But for things like this, I have yet to see, because there's too much artistry involved. A computer can't be creative. It only can crunch numbers, right? So you'd have to figure out some kind of creative algorithm to make it work, and I just don't see that happening. So I wouldn't be too concerned. let's see. How can you create a texture from matte cap? I don't have time to show you that while I'm working on this character right now, but if you look up you can do an Ask ZBrush. So you can do a hashtag Ask ZBrush on Twitter, and Joseph Drust will be searching for those Ask Twitter hashtags on Twitter, and he will, if he hasn't already, he'll make a video displaying how to make that work. Let's see. And I don't think I gave him enough space between his nose and his upper lip for that big fat mustache. I need to bring it down. I don't know what I was thinking there. Give him a mask mustache, a mask stash. I have two dogs here with me today because my sister-in-law's family is staying with us because they got evacuated because of a fire. So they're here and they have their two dogs. So hopefully they're not too loud. But at any little teeny tiny sound, they just go crazy. Like a doorbell. Yeah, Raul, I have, but just so you know, this is Pixologic's live stream, so I like to keep the chat to ZBrush and not talk about other software as much as I can. I mean, we can talk about it a little bit, but if this was my personal stream, I would talk about it more. Yes, no one's been hurt in the fire so far. It's getting contained. So, yeah, they had to evacuate. Yeah, and then I've been going for 33 minutes so far. So, I'll get there, man. I'll get there. Oh, no worries, Sapphire. It's it's lifetime access for a reason. It's made for busy people. So, yeah, just get to it when you can. It's your journey, right? So, yeah. So if I wanted to texture that high poly model, I would have to retopologize it. Yeah, by hand, most likely, yes. They have not written an algorithm that, they haven't written an algorithm that will retopologize perfectly. ZRemesher comes close, but it still has its hiccups. Okay. Let's see here. I'm just kind of working the surface a bit. No worries, Andan. I'm not sure how to say your name. I apologize, but yeah, no worries at all. I appreciate the feedback. It's just a bit early, is all. Okay. Yeah, I loved this character. I loved the movie when it came out, and well, I still do. Hasn't changed. And I really like the character designs in it. I like Clayton a lot. Lucas, I don't know, because ZBrush, Pixologic's on their own path, and they just do what they feel is necessary. So I'm not sure. Just adding a bit more triangles through this area. Okay. I usually don't, sorry. So yeah, that's good. Okay, now we can get these. Okay, did I save it that way? I think I did. Wow. All right. Let's turn the intensity down. So on the pinch brush with Sculptris Pro, you don't want to have Sculptris Pro turned on, because it'll be doing two things at once and working against itself. Which, one, it's adding triangles while it's trying to pinch them together. So it's like, you know, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work very well at all. So you can come into brush right here, any brush, go down to Sculptris Pro and turn off enable. And then it won't work with Sculptris Pro. Hey Charlie, thanks man. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one, I think. Okay, let's define his lips a little better. Let's see, let me spin him around. Whoops. Now, let's see. Now for his lower lip, I can just use this inflate brush. I'm going to turn on Topological so I don't accidentally affect the top lip. Oops. What? Okay. Yeah, I did. Neil, I surprised myself. I already did save it with that setting, and I'm like, oh, I guess I did save it. Okay. I was just getting some error from ZBrush saying, I don't know what it was saying. Saeed, sure. Go ahead. Okay, did this crunch together? All right, I gotta figure out what's going on here. Because it looks like his mouth got stitched somewhere along the way. That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, I'm gonna go back to right here and redo it. Philip, thanks. Yeah, me neither. In which menu is the topological button? Is that a brush option? So any of these, user interface elements, you can hover over and hold down Control, and it will show you where to find it. So you can download my user interface and try it if you'd like. I give it away for free over on my website at 3dcharacterworkshop.com. You can see it right above my head. And you can grab this, and if you hover over this button and hold down Control, you can see it's under Brush, Auto Masking, Topological. So then you go find it. So Brush under Auto Masking, wherever that is. Why can't I see it? Auto Masking. And then at the bottom right there, there's the button. And I just pulled this button out onto my interface because what that does is it makes every brush topological if I want it to be. You may have used Move Topological before, and basically what that does is it will, if you have more than one object that's crossing each other, you can start moving one object and it will not affect the other object. And you can also adjust this range, which is like a fall off. So you can move see, I have my move brush and I have my range set to 3. That means I can start moving the lower lip without affecting the upper lip. So, yeah, that's fine. Okay. Thinking about enrolling in your workshop in the near future? Awesome. Are the forums still active like in the beginning? Yeah, they're active. They're very active right now. Yeah, I can show you. I always show previews of the forum. I like to show it off because I'm pretty proud of it. So here's what it looks like right now. I have a top row in there and all this student work. So yeah, it's working really well. Love this Snape model. Gotta check it out. So yep, this is all student work. This isn't my work. This is all student stuff. So super cool. All right. Yeah, it'd be great to have you in there. Yeah, they're doing a great job. I love how exaggerated the nose is. Okay, I just need to make sure that this isn't accidentally getting stitched together. I don't know what happened to make it stitch. Okay. It's got a bit of an underbite. I'm just trying to see if I can capture just the bottom lip. Doesn't look like I can. Oh, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to pull his lips apart again, and then because I want to mask through there. Let's do a mirror and weld, make this the same. So Sculptris, it does symmetry pretty well, except for down the center line it will get off because it's all made of triangles, so it'll kind of throw it off a little bit, which is totally fine. It's not that big a deal. But what I want to do is I want to give myself some poly groups through here so I can select the upper and lower jaw. There we go. So now I can hide the lower like this, or hide the upper. Now I can close the lips and be able to get in there. I forgot to do that before. But like I said, the lips are going to be hidden by his mustache, so I'm not too concerned. Okay, let's do his nose a little better. And this is just using my detail brush, which is a lot like the damn standard brush, they call it, Damien standard. Just a little more buttery version of it. Sometimes I don't want the smooth brush to interact with the Sculptris Pro either. So sometimes I'll turn it off. I've almost thought about making a second smooth brush that just doesn't have the Sculptris turned on. I wonder if I can pull that. No, I think it's per brush. I'm just thinking out loud. I was like, I wonder if I could pull the button out onto the UI, this enable button, but I think it's per brush. But I kind of want to. I'm going to try it. Let's do it. Midstream, here we go. Preferences, config, enable customize, and then I'm going to pop this open, drag this down, and just stick it right here for a minute. All right, let's try this. And then I turn this off. And let's see. So let me turn it off of smooth. And now it doesn't, that's awesome. Okay, that works. So even though it's per brush, this is a toggle to turn Sculptris Pro on and off of just that brush if I want it to. So to drag that button out onto the user interface, all I did was I turned on enable customize on the UI, which is right here underneath config, preferences config. And then you can hold down Control plus Alt and drag any button out of any of those menus out onto your user interface. And you can also make custom menus. So like this big menu, I made this menu. And you just go into preferences and you can make the menu. So yeah, you can, you can use the, okay, that's the hotkey for it. Oh, thanks, Neil. I've never really, that's probably faster, honestly, than, but it's just, I want to be in like that brush state, right? Particularly with pinch. I never want Sculptris Pro to be turned on with pinch. So I'll just permanently leave that one off. But it's with smooth, it's different because sometimes I just want to smooth the surface without like triangulating the heck out of it, right? So it's good to have it. So see how I'm smoothing it and it's not making any more triangles. But if I turn it back on, so see this patch that has big triangles, now it's making triangles like that. So anyway, okay. Enough of that. Moving on. Okay, I'm gonna build up his cheek. Oh. Let's get a better material. So this is ZBrush gray, which I use a lot when I'm trying to see the surface. So as I build up, it helps. And I want to block in his mustache so bad. So I guess I will. Just to get, I need to get it in there and get his eyebrows in there. That's going to make the whole difference. And I think I am going to scale his eyes vertically because they're so scaled. And that's just because you can see the curvature of his eye. The eyeball itself would have to be like here. It would have to be this big in his head in order to get that curvature to work. So my eyeball right now is not that big. It's like that big. So I'm going to try and scale it up. So I'm going to duplicate this first. We'll try and scale it to see if it will go that big, but I doubt it. That's pushing it without it popping out the side of the head or whatever. Okay, let's see. Maybe. Maybe. That's too big. I'm listening to random soundtracks and The Mandalorian just came on. That's a good one. So this is what it looks like in his head right now. I don't know if I can get that to work. I'm gonna try. But if not, I'm gonna have to elongate the eyeballs. Okay. I'll always try, that's a little tip. Always try to use spherical eyes unless it's absolutely necessary to not to. Yeah, it's not gonna work. See, the curvature of these eyes is still too much. Okay, so let's just go back to these other eyes. That looks funny. Got like eyelids all of a sudden. So I'm gonna start with these eyes, duplicate them again, and scale them up. So let's see what it does for me here. Okay, that's good enough. So see this circle around the outside of this gizmo right here? Sometimes I use it to see, I'm trying to get the gizmo in the center of that eye. And so if I zoom it out, I can kind of see if I have my gizmo in the center a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to scale it up. Yeah, that'll work. So if you shape the eyes on a layer, you could undo those changes on export and redo them in a lattice for rigging. Sure, you could, Tim. Yeah, you could. Usually it's just a sphere that's been scaled. So I'll usually just rebuild the eye, some in Maya or whatever, and then rig it. It's not that big a deal. Sometimes just use flat eye subtools with a pupil iris. It's on, so yeah, you can do that too. There's a million ways. That's how we did it with Mike Wazowski. That, I mean, he's one big giant eyeball, right? So it's just in his head. And we used just a flat plane for his eye, essentially. Creative Ape, how's it going, man? Yeah, it has been a while. Okay, I'm gonna move these in. But yeah, that curvature is much better. Still sculpting. Trying to anyway. Doing my thing. Hey Neil, what number episode is this, by the way? Do you know? I don't know if you could peek really quick. Let's see. Oh, it stopped numbering them? 11 millionth. There you go, 11 millionth. Just trying to get that flat shape on the bottom of that eye. Let's see. Sorry, when I focus, I start to mumble. 130. Crazy. About 128. Yeah, now it's a mystery. Cool. Crazy. I've been doing it for a while. Still a good time though. Pull his cheeks out. So we're almost at an hour. Build up his neck rolls. I love this fill brush. For that. Tim, I usually do, because I have another page open full of reference of him, so you can see. Yeah, his eye. It's hard to see his eyelids, but he does have some, and then you can see how his neck kind of comes down. Yeah, I'll get there. So I'm just kind of mostly looking at the one shot, but I on the other screen I have these other shots open. I can check it out, get some more reference. I always recommend that if you can, if there's more shots. Creative Ape, you should. Yeah, Tim Dan, try using Sculptris Pro, and because it'll just keep adding geometry instead of getting, losing it. Build up this connection here. So with this fill brush, what's nice is you can hold down Alt and cut into it. Instead of fill, you're removing material instead of filling it in. And it's just really subtle and smooth. It's like you're pushing your thumb into it. So then you can go back and forth, like building it up, like this little nubbin here, and then cutting it in. Crank up the intensity a bit. And it's just it's less of a harsh thing. So you can subtly build it up or subtly cut it out. Which I like a lot. I like it a lot. Never used Sculptris Pro. What exactly is the difference between that and regular ZBrush Subdivide Dynamesh? It's huge difference. So basically, it's like it came from Sculptris, which Pixologic purchased Sculptris. Sculptris is a free program. You can, I think it's still available today. I actually have a video on YouTube, a tutorial video on how to use it, and it's basically dynamic topology. A lot of softwares have dynamic topology. That just means as you build it up or as you go, it's creating new geometry, so new triangles as you go. So for example, so if I grab this snake hook brush and I grab the surface right here, if I have Sculptris Pro turned off and I drag this out, you can see that the polygons just stretch and shard, right? So if I turn it back on and I still use the same brush, it generates new topology as I go, and it doesn't shard. It just kind of tries and to generate geometry as it goes, if that makes sense. So that will do that with all of the brushes. The downside is it makes triangles, and that's not really a downside, but it means that you can't use subdivisions. It's just, it is what it is. It's not dynamically subdivided, and you will, or you could run out of geometry due to the limitations of your computer. It just depends on you know, how detailed you get. And you can see, like, the surface, you can see it has all these little triangles, and some people, it drives them crazy to have the surface be slightly noisy like that, and it's something that you just kind of have to learn to embrace, and then, you know, and just kind of get past seeing the triangles on the surface and just look at it for what it is. Yeah, you can totally so what I'll do eventually is I'll duplicate it, ZRemesh it, and then subdivide it, and then it will be smooth as butter. It'll be super clean. Yep. So hope that answered your question. So now I'm just using the move brush to push and pull this stuff around. I use the move brush more than anything, honestly. Whoops. See, that's I did not want to turn the smooth brush, or the smooth Sculptris Pro on, because sometimes it will destroy what you've done. Angela, what is the opposite of a triangle? Are you asking me? Usually it's a quad. So square is what people typically model in, and then subdivide it down. Usually. Ibram, I use Sculptris, then when I ZRemesh is, it's not a perfect thing. It gets you close. But the best way to get a solid base geometry is to retopologize it by hand. Cosine, is that, Angela, are you trying? I'm sorry. I think it's a joke and I missed it. Okay. And the pinch brush helps a lot. What makes a character a stylized one? Many factors. One is design. Not saying that realistic characters aren't designed. They can be. But design plays a huge role. And simplification, exaggeration. And yeah, those are the main things in design. I mean, is the remesh is not giving me the usual ZRemesh polys? It's not? It should be. That's odd. Yeah, without seeing it, I don't know how to address that. How do you reset the settings? Well, I'll ZRemesh this guy's head in a few, and you can see exactly what I do. But you just, it's under ZRemesher right here. Well, caricatures are stylized. That's kind of the definition of a caricature, is a stylized version of someone's face, right? And you can do caricatures of cars and animals and buildings, you know, it's just an exaggeration of something that exists. A simplification and exaggeration. When should you turn perspective on and off? When you're checking your model, and usually towards the end. Sometimes I'll turn it on and off just to see what it's looking like. But I usually don't work in perspective in ZBrush. But I will check my model, and then I'll push it over to something else, like Maya or something, to render. Goodness. All right. And then I'll bring his hair down to be that low. This ear's a bit high. See if I can just drag that connection down a little bit. Probably not, but without destroying it. Okay, I'm just going to build up a couple of those. Sometimes I'll check the wireframe to see if I have enough geometry to do what I want to do. And if it looks like this, then you can just come in with smooth and just add some geometry. And then you can have it to work. I mean, it'll add new geometry as you're using a brush that uses Sculptris Pro. So you don't really have to do that, but it helps with the feathering of the edges. Build this up more. Why don't you see me rendering in Maya? Because this is ZBrush's Pixologic live stream. So I focus on ZBrush because it's their software. But I do render in Maya sometimes. I render in Keyshot, Blender. Yeah, there's a lot of places. Okay. Let's get his mustache in there. I've been saying I've been threatening to add the mustache for so long. Let's get it in there. It's been an hour and 8 minutes. I don't know why I do the time call. That's more like in my head. I'm just like thinking, okay, how much time do I have left? How much time do I have left? Okay, let's save it. Hey, what's up, Dean? Okay. Maybe, yeah, I'll just use a quad sphere. What's up, Ika? How you doing? Yeah, he's pretty much all eyebrows and mustache, right? Actually, what I'm gonna do, see how there's kind of a sphere right here? I'm gonna start there and get that size and shape close, and then drag it out from there. Making some renders, cool. Awesome, Dan. Doing some retopo. Hope you're listening to some good music while you do it, so it can act as therapy. That's what I always tell people. Retopology can be therapeutic. Nobody likes to do it, but it can be therapeutic. Just get lost in it, you know? Okay. I add? I don't know that I... Okay. That's weird. I don't know what I did to... I think I accidentally subdivided it. Weird. I'm gonna rename this just so I know what it is. Like which one's which. Okay. Just gonna smooth this down. Right on. Wow, 305 viewers across all platforms. I think that's getting close to the record. Awesome. David, it's true. It's true. Well, it's just something that's kind of you can just get lost in, right? And yes, that's boring. You can't kind of turn your mind off a little bit if it's something that's exciting. It has to be somewhat boring, right? Or you're too into it to relax. So I'm gonna pull it up closer to his head. Okay, I need to look at these other references to see. Okay. It's just two puffballs just kind of next to each other. When I sculpt and smooth a lot, I get lots of points or dots that are caused by pinching. Are you using Dynamesh when you do that mostly? Yeah, it's kind of like an old Mario, right? I think what I'm going to do is delete one side so it's not in the way. Yeah, let's delete this side. You're using normal subdivisions, and when you smooth, you get points or dots. You want to avoid poles. So that's just sides, either a three-sided like a, here, let me just draw it for you. So a pole, so a dot with 3 sides coming off of it, or a dot with 5 sides coming off of it. Though, if you're trying to smooth those down, particularly this one, it's going to give you a pole. And it's best to have quads, just squares, right? That smooths down the best. Triangles will not smooth down as well. Even if you have quads like this center post, that pole, that 3-sided pole, it'll have a hard time smoothing down. So just try to avoid it if you can. Do you ever overlay your sculpt on top of your reference? Yeah, yep, I do. I actually lay my reference on top of my sculpt. You can do that with Spotlight. Okay. I'm going to try something with this. I'm going to use the Macon hairbrush. Go back to Skin Shade 4. And then But Neil, I can't remember to change this stupid brush. Like to save the default as this is like this, you know? Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna use both sides of this. No, maybe this way. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, if you guys want this brush, you can find it over on Funky Bunny's website. Come on. There we go. Okay, I'm going to commit this. I'm only going to use this side and this side, I think. Turn off Sculptris Pro. It is adaptive. Yep, Christopher. It is Sculptris Pro. You can find it right here. It's fairly new. I think it's new since ZBrush 2019. Yep, Danny Mac makes a good brush. So does Dylan Ekron. There's lots of nice hair brushes out there in the world. I should make a hair brush. I kind of made this. Well, I shouldn't say that. I contributed to it in some small way, but no, I didn't. Yeah, check it out. It's basically dynamic topology, just like Sculptris inside of ZBrush. If you've ever played with that before. Let's see. When do I choose adaptive, normal, Dynamesh? It always depends on what your goal is with what you're trying to do. So unfortunately there's not like a clear solid answer for that, other than you use what you need at the time, because maybe I'll try something and it just didn't work, so I'll have to do something else. Okay, I'm just going to basically turn this into the mustache itself and just smooth it down like that, and then inflate it. This is just something I'm just trying. I'm like, hey, that might work. Might work just to kind of put a hair through here and then just inflate this section where it's all fat. Oops, let's go too intense. This is kind of where I like to use move elastic works really well for hair and just moving this stuff around in big swatches. because the fall off, it's kind of spongy or rubbery. I don't know how to explain it, but the brush just has a different feel to it, and that feel works really well with hair. Trying to gather all these up into one point. How do you sculpt hair braids? Find a hair braid brush is what I usually do. There's insert multi-mesh brushes that are already made, and they're already in braids. So when I need, sometimes I've made an insert multi-mesh if I need a specific braid, but usually I'll just go find one. They're all over. Lots of people have made those. Thanks, Saeed. I don't know if I'd ever call me a grandmaster, but I appreciate it. And I'm just trying to shape these tips so they look believable. No, you can find free ones. Check out the insert multi-mesh repository. On ZBrush Central. I'm sure there's a hair braid brush in there. You can find that. And they're all free. Find that right there. There you go. Just do some, hopefully you can do a search in there and find it. Does clay brush always work with Dynamesh? I realize ZRemesher doesn't work with clay brush. Yeah. Hey, how's it going for you? So it's just, you just need to have enough resolution for the clay brush to work properly. And a ZRemeshed mesh does not have enough resolution, typically. Unless it's subdivided like crazy. Okay, let's get this kind of off his head a little bit. I don't want these points to be laying right on his cheek. So I'm going to mirror this, mirror and weld it. Whoop, got to turn off local symmetry first. There we go. And then I need to get these closer. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn symmetry off, topological on, and then overlap these bits. To kind of get some asymmetry happening. It's kind of weird, but it's in the cartoon, it's always drawn from 3/4 like this, so you never see both sides at once. So that's kind of an interesting challenge there. Then I need to turn off the creasing on all this so it doesn't have these creased lines through it. And something's going on upstairs. Some kind of thumping action happening. Looks weird. I'll have to address that later. It's kind of weird. Might connect them and do something. I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is yet. Let's get his eyebrows going on. I do want to grab his skin color though and fill it. Let's go a little more orange. Hey Dan, thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Love to see how you render the final shot of this character in Keyshot. I might. Oh, what? Did I lose my color? What's going on here? Okay, something's going on. What? Okay, that's bonkers. Something's going on here. That's not quite right. GB 100%. That is bonkers. Major project some time ago. What project is that? What are you talking about? Another head. Oh, this guy? Oh, right. Thank you. I was like, what in the world is going on? Which one do I want, though? Why do I have two of these? They're the same. Okay, that's bizarre. I don't know where this one came from. Get out of here, extra head. Weird. All right. Oh, goodness. Hold on 1 second, sorry. Okay. All right. Now we got these eyes, and this he's in some kind of weird light, so I'm gonna have to adjust it a little bit. There, that's better. David, are you a student of mine or no? Then I'll tell you. Okay, let's do crease. Oh, voicemail. Okay. I'm just undoing these creases. I don't want to go all the way down the line with them though. Oops. Whoops. I'm just turning off these creased edges. It's kind of a pain. I wish I could select one edge and then select all the way down to where I want to stop. But I cannot do that. I think I might leave this one actually. Leave one creased edge across the bottom. These ones you won't really see because they're kind of tucked up underneath here. 341 people. Holy cow. I think that's a record. Well, thank you everyone so much for watching today. I really appreciate it. Whoa. I mean to do that. Does stylized mean a specific type, or could two artist styles that are completely different fall under the stylized category? Stylized is just caricatured. So exaggerated, simplified, and yes, there's not just one stylized artist. There's several. And yeah, stylization is just your take on a character, right? And it's like you pushing the look and the design, the feel of that character. Okay. This is my fence. I'm getting fence soon. No, I wish there was. Maybe. It's just kind of a click, click, click pain. I'll get through it. Bear with me. Thanks for your patience. I'll probably lose all my viewers now. They're like, oh, creases. I'm out. I use QMesh. That's okay. I think it just. I don't know if I added some thickness to it, that'd be weird. But I think it just inflated it a little bit. You're right. Does ZBrush lag if I have too many brushes in ZBrush folder? No, it shouldn't. But you shouldn't have a bajillion brushes in there or you'll just get overwhelmed, in my opinion. Like, to do all my characters, I only use, I just use this amount of brushes and not even all of them, right? I only use like 5 of these max during any one session. So the only time you really have a whole bunch of brushes is if you're making environments and you have like screws and rocks and that kind of stuff. But if you're doing stylized characters, you don't need tons of them. There we go. Let's take a look. Yeah. See that? There you go. Sweet. I'm deciding if I like that edge. I don't know that I do. We'll get rid of it. Okay. Let's do his eyebrows are crazy. I'm gonna pull them up more. Like, not his eyebrows, but just his brows, like the volume of them. They come up and forward like this a lot. You're a brush hoarder? All right. Yeah, now that I got these, I'm going to use the Move Elastic brush and give these more volume. Let's turn on symmetry. That's not working. There we go. if face needs more geometry than the body because the eyes or other facial characteristics, how is then different density of geometry achieved when dynamesh or remesh? I don't really understand the question. Sorry. Giving him a weaker neck. And then flattening his head. So Bobin, I'm trying to decide how to answer that question. It all depends on your needs, and how you change density is by ZRemeshing and dynameshing. And when you do it is completely up to you and your needs at the time. There's not really a one time that you just go, all right, it's time now. It's not a linear process. Like my art director from Disney would always say, art is messy, and it's true. It's just messy. It's like drawing, right? Sometimes you're drawing up here and then down here and then over here. Like right now, I'm just tweaking overall the whole model, just here and there. Just looking at different things and trying to match the concept while I go. So yeah, it's kind of a hard question to answer. I don't know how to answer that one. Is it possible to get different densities in different areas on the same subtool? Oh, thanks, Aika. I guess I misunderstood the question if that's what you're trying to ask. So yes and no. I don't. The best way to achieve that is by using Sculptris Pro, because you can easily see how I have different densities. Well, barely. I have a bit of a different density on the top of his head than the rest of his head, but I can essentially turn on Sculptris Pro, crank this down just a little bit, and then turn up the density right there, right? So that's even more density. And that's the beauty of Sculptris Pro. That's why I love it so much. But as far as Dynamesh, you're going to have the exact same density over the entire thing, no matter what. So that's kind of one of the weaknesses of Dynamesh, is that you're rebuilding the entire mesh every time you Dynamesh. So it's like, it's the same. And when you're ZRemeshing, with that as well, it's also the same. With ZRemesher, and I don't advise it, but you can paint with blue and red paint, and you can kind of tell ZRemesher where to put what density. Like you can put some density higher in like on your fingers, and then lower on your hand. But it's kind of difficult. I don't recommend it. It's unpredictable. Because it's like the Pirate's Code. It's more of a guide, right? It's more of a guide for ZRemesher. It doesn't follow it exactly. And then the change of density is pretty abrupt, so it gives you a pretty big change when you're doing that. Okay. So I usually keep densities the same throughout the subtools. Let's do a little one at the end here. I don't want to make him look too much like Worf or Klingon, Star Trek. Okay, let's give him some eyebrows. Now this would be a good brush, a hairbrush to make, is one that's flat across the bottom and bushy on the other side. Star Trek Grandpa. I'd have to change his skin tone and okay, I need to get his nostrils up. Again, thank you everybody for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. On your Monday, there's so many other things you could be doing, I know. And you're choosing to share your time with me. Yeah, it makes me really appreciative. Thank you. And I still can't figure out what makes people, like, what makes the viewership go up and down. I don't know. I've tried to advertise it a little bit on Facebook and stuff, and that doesn't really help, and I don't know. And sometimes I get great viewership, and sometimes it's just kind of meh. Thanks, Tim. Okay. Trying to balance out having this mustache super bushy up into his nose, but yet having his nose pushed down into his mustache. It's a conundrum, I tell you. Thanks, Raphael. That's what a lot of people do. Yeah, because by itself, like somebody said, watching sculpting is kind of boring. So if you're sculpting while I'm sculpting and just kind of listening and getting some of the tips that I throw out, then there you go. Okay, I love his cheeks. His cheeks are crazy. They're so poofy. You can see him from this 3/4 view. That's funny, Tim. Okay, let me adjust this ear a little bit. Kind of lost some of the detail in there a bit. Not sure how that happened. How do you turn on the white silhouette in the upper left corner, and what purpose does it serve? So silhouette is super important to character design, and making sure that it reads from far away, and making sure, because you can tell a character's just by the silhouette, right? Who it is. And so if you can, when I'm done, if you can tell who this is in the silhouette just by the silhouette, then it's successful, right? So how you get the white silhouette is ZBrush 2020 ships with silhouette now, and it's usually black silhouette on a white background up here, but you can switch it by changing, if you do a switch color, so this black is your color, go to preferences, thumbnail, and then click the word background to change it to black, and it will make this white, and it will drop the background out. So that's how you do it. Okay. Let's see, where are we at? Got about 15 minutes left. I don't know if I'll be able to finish this guy, but we're getting there. Yeah, 2019. You need 2020 to get it. I love his little wrinkles. Yep, David. Be great to see you sculpt some action pose character. Ah. Yeah, maybe sometime. Okay. Do I have my own stream? I don't. Well, I kind of do, but I never stream over there. All of my teaching and everything is for my students in my course. So I keep most of it over there. How about that? Done. Yay. Good job. Angry. Look, he's an angry grandpa. Hey, what's up, Punchy? How's it going? Okay. I don't know where I'm going with this. I think I'm going to have to do a couple together. I sculpt every single Monday at well, it's 11 a.m. Is it 11 a.m.? Trying to think. Well, it's from noon till 2 o'clock my time, which is mountain time, which is 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific, I think. Okay, let me split this off. Okay. There, eyebrows done. Like my eyebrows. Oh man. So your time, I'm about to finish. I go off air in 15 minutes. Just to give you an idea. Do you do contract work? Asking for a team that loves your work. Oh, thank you so much. I don't do much contract work. Because my course takes all of my time these days. So I've done a handful. Very, very seldomly. When it's a project that I'm just in love with, if I'm in love with the character designs and that kind of stuff, and if I have the time. Yeah, Tim, I lived in Arizona as well. And yeah, I have to agree with you. They're thinking about doing away with it here. That would be nice. Not gonna lie. Okay, I just duplicated that by holding down Control and dragging. Would I consider a consultation? Yeah. Reach out to me if you want. I mean, it just depends on how much time, you know. But yeah, it's shane.olson@3dcharacterworkshop.com if you want to send me an email. Oh, you want to see me remesh before I go? Okay. Waiting with bated breath. I think I might put one more in here. I don't know. Sometimes these hairbrushes cooperate and sometimes not so much. Can you suggest a character? I mean, you can. I usually pick ones that I'm excited about. So it would have to be something that I would be excited about. I know that's selfish, but that's how I can get these done quicker, is if I'm into it. Is it easier? I think it's easier. Okay, this is going to take some tweaking to get these eyebrows looking correct. It might even work better if I do each of these individually instead of in threes. Oops. Those are some crazy eyebrows. Let's do some inflating. This is my suggestion. It's just it didn't, Angelo, it didn't, well, as you can see, it just posted a bunch of characters. I don't know if you meant to do that or what. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some tweaky magic here. Get this to behave point at a time. Do pro character artists use a lot of assets or make their own? It just depends. With you know, with when I worked on Disney Infinity, we had a library of parts built up that we would share with each other for sure. That's called working smarter, not harder. So yeah, for sure. But for these streams, I usually like to I don't know what's going on with this one. I like to start from scratch each time just so people can see me building it. But I will use base meshes occasionally. All right, I got to come in here and figure this and unwind this. There we go. Jeez. Got tied in a knot there. Sometimes that happens. See that one creased edge? I got to get that out to make it be the point of the hair. Anyway, this is like subtle of moving of points that takes a while to do. Isn't the most fascinating to watch on a live stream. Okay, so let me ZRemesh this head really quick. Okay. Eyebrows. Sure. Kind of turned out fun. So let's grab this head and duplicate it. I'm going to save it first. And hide the original. Then we'll ZRemesh this one. Is working on a character then posing easier than sculpting in pose mode? Absolutely, because then you can take it symmetrical as far as you possibly can and then utilize symmetry as far as you can and then pose it after the fact. Much easier. Much easier. Okay, so with this one, I mean, we can just ZRemesh it with the default stats and it should do a pretty good job. So, but I'm going to change it to, I'm going to leave it at 5. I'm just going to ZRemesh it to see what we get. Should do okay. TikTok. BMagart, it just depends on the goals. You know, if I am working on a project that has specific characters and specific needs and they all have to kind of look the same, then I will use a base mesh. But usually I like starting from scratch because the base mesh will influence your design and you'll kind of see a little bit of that base mesh in your end results, unless you tweak on for days, and which is, I've done that before too. So it's not impossible, but usually I won't do that. Okay. So here's the ZRemesh results. And then I can just subdivide that. And let's go grab that skin color again and fill it. And there's, so there you go. It's now it's kind of the same. It's very close. So if I go up and let's see. So this is the Sculptris one, and this is the ZRemesh one. So it's fairly close. If you look at them, see, so these get a little sharper down in here. Whoops. On the Sculptris one, see, this is the Sculptris, and this is the ZRemesh one. So I do the same, but as you, but my poly count is too low and not with. So you need to turn symmetry on, and go get my ruler file from the 3dcharacterworkshop.com if you want to. I'm not saying like go get this, but if you'd like, go get the ruler file, and that will get you started in making your character, because the density will be based off of how large your character is in your scene, and you'll want it to be the resolution to be high enough to cover the details. And for me, 5,000. So this target poly count 5, that means 5,000. So this head, it actually made it 10,000, but 5,000 is the target that it tries to hit with that. And then if you need more geometry, then turn this up to like a 7 or a 10-ish. You don't want to crank it all the way to the right, because it'll make a mess. So hopefully that helps. But this ruler file will help you keep your scene a manageable size. Hopefully. So, and my head is, it's a bit too big. I need to shrink it down. So anyway. Okay. So this is where we got with him. I just need to add this hair around the back and this little tuft coming up the back, and then his irises. And then I was going to give him a collar and a bow tie. So that's kind of where we're at. And I made his mustache kind of too long. I need to squish it. Goodness. So let me grab this. I just want to squish it really quick. Squish. There. There we go. And I really want to make his forehead like, it seems like his whole forehead's like leaning forward, right? So from the side, I guess it's working because this, it's not bad. I feel like I want to make it leaning forward a little bit more. Maybe it's his nose. The size of his nose needs to shrink a little bit. Anyway, it's just it becomes just kind of a back and forth polishing phase, just to try and get it closer. Yeah, he's going like this for sure. Like, so yeah, it'll take some. That'll change when I get his collar on there, and because I have his neck forward for sure. Yeah. And that's kind of what's causing some of those chin wrinkles too, right? So anyway, all right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. And remember, I also have an online course, an all-inclusive course, and you can find that over at 3dcharacterworkshop.com. You can also download my free brushes over there as well as my user interface and that ruler file. So I give that all away for free. So if you would like to check that out, feel free, and I will continue on this guy next week. All right. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next Monday, exact same time. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Neil, and cheers. Have fun. Have happy sculpting. All right. We'll see you guys. Bye.